Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Guten Chodesh, Chodesh Tov. We are Alin Mishna Sukkah, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, excuse me, Mishnah Mishnah 14. Okay, so continuing with the fact that the Mishnah is discussing a period of time when if the first day of Sukkot fell out on Shabbos, that we would take the Lulav and Esrig, we would perform the mitzvah of Lulav and Esrig. So now the Mishnah tells us something else. Rabbi Yossi says, Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag Shechalo Yos b'Shabbos. The first day of Sukkot fell out on Shabbos. V'shachach, and he forgot. V'hoitzias halulav b'shus harabim, and he carried his lulav out into the public domain. He forgot it's yontif, or he forgot that you're not allowed to carry in a public domain. This is unintentional, and he carried his lulav into the public domain. He went carried his lulav from a private domain into the public domain, and he transgressed a Torah prohibition of transferring from a private domain to a public domain. But he did it unintentionally. Now, if you transgress a prohibition that carries the punishment of kares, if the punishment of kares are being cut off, your neshama, your soul is cut off. If you do something that carries that punishment when done intentionally, and you do it unintentionally, so what do you got to do? You bring a carbon chatas, a sin offering. And in this situation, it's Shabbos. He transgressed Shabbos. And normally for transgressing Shabbos, you should have to bring a sin offering. Says Rabbi Yossi Potter. In this case of carrying the lulav into the street on Shabbos, you are exempt from a carbon chatas sin offering. Why? Literally translated, it would mean because he took it out with permission. Now, that's not true. He didn't take it out with permission. Doesn't have permission. You're not allowed to take it out in the public domain on Shabbos. But what it means is that he was performing a mitzvah while doing it. He took it out to do something that if it wouldn't be Shabbos, he would be allowed to do, and he would be doing it for a mitzvah. So now, when it's Shabbos and he's not allowed to do it, because he did it in preparation for a mitzvah, he's exempt from the sin offering. That is Rabbi Yossi's opinion. If you transgress in a way that would typically carry a sin offering for doing it unintentionally, but you did it because you did it while you were involved in doing a mitzvah, which means that it was the mitzvah that caused you to forget that it was forbidden for you to do this, says Rabbi Yossi, that kind of intentional sin doesn't carry a sin offering. So therefore, accordingly, this person, why he was taking his lulav into the public domain. Why was he doing it? Because he wanted to take it to shul and use it in shul. So he's doing it for the purpose of a mitzvah. And according to Rabbi Yossi, we say the mitzvah is what caused him to forget that he can't do this. And therefore he's exempt from the sin offering. Now, in order to be able to say this, right? In order to be able to say this, what if let's say according to Rabbi Yossi, even according to Rabbi Yossi's opinion, you used your lulav and esrig in shul, you did the mitzvah already, and then you unintentionally carried it out because you forgot it was yontif. Would you have to bring a sin offering then? A Shabbos, rather. You forgot, after you did the mitzvah, you now forgot again at Shabbos and you carried it outside. But you have to bring a sin offering? Yeah. You certainly would, because you're not involved in the mitzvah then. Yeah. You finished doing the mitzvah. Now, what does it take to do the mitzvah lulav and esrig? What does it take to do? What do you got to do to perform it? You pick it up. You have to pick it up, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you took it out from your house, didn't you pick it up? You picked it up, of course. Which would mean that you did the mitzvah already. So if you did the mitzvah already, then what's the difference if you so then you already did the mitzvah. When you carry it out into the street, you did the mitzvah already. You should be liable for a sin offering. So that means for Rabbi Yossi's case to say that you're going to be exempt from the sin offering because you were involved in still doing the mitzvah, that means it has to be a case where you picked up a lulav and esrig and you didn't do it and you didn't fulfill the mitzvah. So that can happen in two ways. That can happen either that, you carried it in a way by which you do not fulfill the mitzvah. Let's say you carried it upside down. Let's say you didn't carry your lulav upright. You didn't hold the lulav upright. You held it upside down. Mm-hmm. You didn't hold your esrog upright. You held it upside down. If you hold the lulav and esrog that way, you don't fulfill the mitzvah. Or let's say, instead of carrying it in your hand, you put it in a box. Can you fulfill the mitzvah by picking up the lulav and esrog in a box? The answer is no. So the case in the Mishnah that Rabbi Yossi says that you carried it into the public domain and you were exempt from a sin offering because you were doing it in preparation for a mitzvah, which means that when you picked it up, you did not fulfill the mitzvah, has to be that you did it in a way, you picked it up and carried it in a way that you couldn't fulfill the mitzvah because you were carrying it, you were holding it in a way that you can't fulfill the mitzvah, such as upside down or in a box, meaning you're holding it in a utensil. Have a wonderful day. Chodesh Tov, a good Chodesh.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So that means